A 5-minute recap again with Coach K. This week we're talking about success and redefining it. So once again, link for the lesson is here on the Facebook page. You can scroll down and find that, and I'll post that here after I'm done shooting the video so you guys can look over it. So we'll dive right in. So here's the top statement for this week. The poor are shunned even by their neighbors, but the rich have many friends. So think about this for a second, right? You're driving along and you have car trouble. You're with your family, something breaks down, right? Do you want to break down in a rougher, rural, not as rich environment? Or would you like to break down in a nice gated community? Which one of those places do you think you're more likely to have someone come out and actually help you? We know the answer, right? So just because you may be financially wealthy, you may not have friends that will be there for you in times of adversity. And that's a reality. So we want to completely flip the script and say, we've measured success primarily with a financial metric, and that's a very poor measure of success. It doesn't encompass and capture everything. There's a lot in this lesson. I love this one. I really strongly encourage you to watch the full one. But here, I'll jump into this. Relationships play a vital role in how poverty and success are seen in the world around us. So in order to help us feel successful, we need to have a framework to look at success being a surplus in 4 possible areas. The relationship with ourself, our mind, our body, our spirit, all those types of things. Our relationship with others, our friends, our family, our neighbors, with nature, with animals, with plant life, all those types of things around us. Water, conservation. This is a reality. And as well as the supernatural. There's so many other countries and cultures that may be financially worse off than where you may be as you're watching this video. If you're in the US or you're somewhere in Europe, right? There's a lot of richness in the material resources we have around us, but there's this detachment from these things, because not everything is fully explainable by science that we've discovered so far, right? There is a supernatural world out there, and many other cultures are probably more advanced, richer in that, in those types of areas in there. So when we define success this way, we define success as an abundance, a surplus, a richness in these relationships, all in these areas, not just financially, then we're all poor in some of these areas. And we all need to grow. And generally it takes relationship to do that. So no one experiences the fullness that are intended for each one of these relationships. And here's the deal. So when someone who is financially wealthy and feels that they're successful, they feel like they're rich, interacts with someone who doesn't have money or material possessions or resources in that moment, right? Many times the way that we approach someone who we deem as poor actually reinforces the idea that they don't have much to offer, which is just not true. It's a load of garbage, right? Everybody has assets. Everybody has things to bring up. And like I said in my other video, I've been to some of the poorest places on earth. I've been to some of those broken, desolate, impoverished nations on earth. And the people that rise out of those scenarios, they do that relationally. Obviously, they can't not do that relationally. But it's a mentality, it's a mindset. So success and poverty have nothing to do with these metrics of finances or with physical goods. They do have to do with successful thinking and successful relationships with internally, right? If you feel unsuccessful, you feel broken, you feel poor, then even when an opportunity presents itself, you're like, well, I can't take advantage of the opportunity because I'm just not good enough. So when we flip the script and we look at things differently, we realize that success and poverty, those are things that we can work towards. We can solve those, and we can solve them relationally. We're not going to be looking for outside programs. So if you feel in a state of not being successful, there's nothing you have to wait for. There's nothing you have to wait for. You already have access to resources and to friendships and partners around you right now to start building bridges with. If you're talking with me, you're connecting with me, this is a resource. I'm available to you to connect with outside of these videos as well. So just reach out. And we're not going to go to someone who financially doesn't have resources. And I've got some great stories for you later on in the year about, becoming rich in relationships, rich with neighbors. We've got a great neighbor that's helped us out in a lot of ways. So redefine success. Measure your life according to this metric. Are you truly successful and rich according to all these areas? And how do you measure that? So I've got a link for you. It's on the sheet this week. At the very bottom, coachk.me/PIA. That stands for Personal Impact Assessment. You can measure all those areas and get back to me, and then I'll email that back to you. So have a great week. That's your Friday 5-minute recap on redefining success.